Got audio going?
I think so. I don't do that one.
You're gonna hit the output right there.
Yes, bottom one. Yeah, you're good.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Travis Downs, Director of Sales at Formax. Thank you all for joining us today for this month, March sales presentation here from the Formax demo room. I'm joined by Doug McCallum, an account manager on the team here. We'll be working closely together going through a presentation on the big three Formax paper folders. But first, I'm a little bit overshadowed this week. We had a big product launch. If you haven't spoken with your account executive yet this week, please call them, give them a hard time. We launched the ColorMax 9 envelope printer this week. Most exciting launch of the year, adding to our leading ColorMax lineup. We've got the great ColorMax 7 and ColorMax 8 using MemJet's technology. Now we have the ColorMax 9 using HP's print technology. This is the most complete system using that technology in the industry at a unique and competitive price point. So not to take away from the conversation we're going to have about folders today and some good reasons you can go out and upgrade your customers, but also another hot product from Formax that you can take advantage of. So today, specifically, I'm here to talk paper folders. And Formax has been a paper folder manufacturer for almost 40 years. And for us, it's really exciting to talk about these machines because sometimes you kind of can forget about how common of an office product paper folders are and what value they bring to your customers for the applications that they're performing each and every day in their offices and providing them with more efficiency. We're going to highlight three specific models today. These are really the flagship three units in our lineup. The FD346, the FD386, and the FD38XI paper folders. I'm going to talk about the differences between the machines. I'm going to talk about the advantages, talk about some customers that use them in different applications, give you a really good sense of why to take advantage of these models. If for no other reason, right now we're running a great promotion on these three machines. If you haven't talked to your account executive, you should give them a call, make sure they brought you up to speed on it. If you're an end user joining your dealer to hear about these machines and why you should make an upgrade, it's another good reason to give a call out to that Formax account executive. We'll help you out. Great timing into the month here to push on these three machines. So first place to start is paper folders and why customers buy them. You know, if you think about inefficiencies in the office, nothing is going to take up more of a customer's time than hand folding paper. And that could be at a church where they've got 50 to 150 bulletins a week. That could be at a school where they've got notices that have to go out each and every month to students and parents. Or it might be in the pharmaceutical industry where they've got little slips and instructions that have to go into packages. Regardless of what the application is, you don't want to do those things by hand. You want a reliable, easy to use machine that can make those applications happen quickly and efficiently. So with the Formax Big 3 here, 346, 386, 38XI, a couple of things to highlight as we go through the presentation. First, all three of these machines are fast, 5 to 10% faster than their competitors. Two, they're really durable, well-built machines, and they're modern. Each of these units is built on years of design and engineering by Formax. The 346 was the 340, and then it was the 342, and now it's the 346. Same with the 386 and the 38XI. You'll notice they also look very similar to our industry-leading pressure sealers that are manufactured right here in Dover, New Hampshire. All of that know-how and engineering, moving paper through machines, really informs how these machines can be so consistent and efficient for your customers. In fact, we've seen a number of machines being replaced that are 15 or 20 years old at this point that customers have been running and replacing feed tires and having some good success with. The reason I say modern is when you've got that engineering and manufacturing background, you're always upgrading these machines. You'll notice each of these has a full color, easy to use touchscreen. For the modern office environment, they want simplicity. They don't want a whole bunch of buttons to push. They don't want a difficult to read analog screen. They want something full, colorful, bright, and dynamic that's easy for any operator to come up to, make a decision, and run the machine. Now, with Formax, you have options. And from the retail pricing perspective, if you're newer to the line or don't have your pricing right in front of you, think of it in terms of about your $4,000 product at MSRP, full retail value, $5,000 product, and $6,000 product. And each has its own unique capabilities and things that make it really run and work for customers. But all three of these share some commonalities as well. So I'll walk through each machine and talk about the differences between the three, some markets for each, some applications that customers will run. First one here, FD346. All right, so the FD346 is a manual setting paper folder. So what does that mean? It means you've got 3 points of adjustment as an operator you'll make between folds. The first one's on your upper fold plate. The second's on your lower fold plate down behind the paper feed. Your third is on that exit conveyor for your output stacker wheels. So when you're switching jobs, if you're going from a half fold to a tri-fold, those are the changes you'll have to make. And if I could go to my handheld, Doug is going to give me an indication when my hand's not shaking and you've actually got a good look at what we're doing here.
That's pretty good right there.
Okay. All right. So 346, if you're thinking about a customer, relatively low volume user, let's talk about a church that's doing their bulletins every Sunday. They're doing an outbound campaign to their parishioners, looking for some donations. They want to be able to make their changes easily and in an efficient machine that's going to save them money and not have to be replaced for a long time. So you'll notice all metal fold plates. If I slide over a little bit here, you'll notice I've got foam inside there to do some sound dampening. An easy guide here to move back and forth between folds. And then all of your common folds are pre-marked on that fold plate. Very simple for any operator to use. If I come back to the feed table, you'll notice it's got 3 feed tires. This is consistent with each of these big 3 paper folders and any friction-fed machine that Formax is selling. Having 3 feed tires that sit down on the paper, they make the feed really consistent. They keep the pressure even on the sheet, and they can be moved depending on what you're running. If a customer's running a lot of a smaller, narrower sheet, you could pull those wheels in a little bit closer to assist with feeding. You've got your side guides here, the center over the paper, get them aligned for the feed wheels. Very simple to set up and operate. Doug, if you want to go back to my main screen.
Sir?
The 346 also has a touch screen. So while you're setting up your folds manually, sliding that plate position up and back on the bottom, on the screen you have a job counter. So I can zero it out each and every time I have to run my job. Why does that matter? Let's use that church example, the most common vertical market for buying paper folders. They've got 150 people they want to serve. They need to make sure they have enough for service on Sunday. Do your count. You'll know exactly how many forms you ran. Another nice feature of that touchscreen is the ability to do a one-time trial piece. So I'm going to get my handheld out of the way so I don't try to yank a piece of paper out from under it. So I can run my tri-folded piece, do my test, and then I can get off to the races. So that's down to an empty paper tray. I can come back and see that I ran 5 sheets in just a short amount of time. That's the advantage of having a paper folder in any office environment. And if you think about 75 perfectly folded pieces in less than a minute's operation, imagine the amount of time that saves where those volunteers working at the church, that office administrative staff, can go on and do something else to benefit the parish. So really nice, easy to use machine. A couple of things that are standard and optional with the Formax machines as well. Each of these 3 units includes a cross-fold wheel. I'll show you that on the 38XI. And then you do have an option for a multi-sheet feeder. probably ask, what's a multi-sheet feeder? If you have an application where you have, let's say, 3 or 5 sheets, or 3 up to 5 sheets, maybe with a staple in it that you want to fold, you can add the multi-sheet feeder. You'll see it on top of that 38XI. Hand feed one set at a time for small batches with one staple in them. It's got to be in the top corner. You're not going to do booklets through that multi-sheet feeder, but it's a really nice application for even in that same church environment. At the holidays, you got 2-3 different sheets of paper you want to hand out. You can drop them through that multi-sheet feeder. Still faster, still more efficient, still more accurate than doing it by hand. So 346, really popular machine, easy to use, reliable, nice little features, even including that foam in the fold plate. Running any paper folder, you're never going to get away from the whip of the paper moving through the machine, but it's the little things, along with having an all-metal construction, got some sound dampening covers, some foam in the fold plates. It does help mitigate that for the office environment. So great unit to go out and sell to customers, typically for your lower budgets that do want the capability to do up to a 12 by 18 inch sheet and load up to 500 sheets at a time in the in-feed. The cross-fold wheel that I mentioned is used when customers want to do 2 pass folds. So maybe you're going to do a half fold one direction, and then I want to come back the other direction and fold it down. Maybe it's a map. Maybe it's a map or a pocket guide that customers want to use, maybe in the retail space. That's an application you can accomplish with the 346. I'm standing here with Doug. I don't want to steal all his moves and start throwing paper around, so maybe at the end. But that's the 346 paper folder. Again, it's reliable, durable. It's got modern features for a tabletop manual setting folder. And it really works for customers. And it gives them some versatility because it includes that cross fold, because you can easily adjust between folds. You can handle your short run work without paying a tremendous amount up front. You just have to consider those adjustments between jobs. 386. So this is that middle ground between manual and fully automatic. The 386 has fully automatic fold plates, which means I'm going to drive them out of the touchscreen, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to bring the screen back to life and hit a button.
Hit the change button rather than the home.
I'm good.
Fat fingers.
Doug's right. Doug's right. You fat finger the button. I'm not quite ready to get to the touchscreen yet, but you'll notice the fold plates on the FD386 are fully enclosed. Okay, that's because they're moving automatically. As an operator, you don't have to make adjustments to the plates for the different folds you want to do. It's going to do them automatically. The plates lock into place at the top and then again under the feed. That spring tension feed table can hold up to 500 sheets. Again, similar to the 346. The output stacking wheels on the 386, that's an adjustment you have to make depending on the size paper that you're folding and running. When I go back into my touchscreen here, Doug, if you want to take a look. Okay, touchscreen interface. It's easy to use, green and red buttons for start and stop. It's got your one-time trial button. Really important, that way you can check your fold. Talking about those school departments, you might have the guidance office, the front office, the athletic department, the teachers. People are bouncing through the machine all day, running different jobs, different applications. Having the ability to save those common jobs into the touchscreen and easily recall them is a really good thing, but it's even more important to be able to do test pieces. That way, if you got the wrong paper in there, you got the wrong fold type, you're not having to go reprint 50 or 100 notices and waste all that time and effort. So you have an ability to save common jobs, access your service area, same idea, job counter, speed control. If I want to change my fold to a common application, I just pick my common preset sizes. In the in-feed table, the machine does have sensors based on the 2 side guides, and then also behind the trail edge of the paper. So it's assuming I got 11-inch paper in there based on the position of the side guides, and then I'm not covering the sensor on that screen. When I hit enter, it's going to reset my fold positions for the application that I want to run. So, 15 or so seconds, get my two fold positions, do a trial piece. I got a half versus a trifold, which is what I had set up. If everyone can see that, Dougie?
Yep.
All right. And again, then you're into operation. So again, that was 40 pieces, ran right through the machine, empty feed table, pieces out on the output conveyor. These all telescope, so you get some extra space on them depending on the number of sheets you're running, how much space you have in your office. Easy to use. All three of these machines have that same consistent out feed table. And then you've got your in feed. Like I mentioned, there's a sensor back here on the end that when you cover it, it's going to change the paper size that the machine thinks it's seeing. Same with these side tables here. When I open them up, it'll adjust for an 11 by 17, for example. So the machine can sense the position and then automatically make adjustments to the fold table depending on the pieces of paper you're running. So for example, this is really important in that school environment. When you go to a band concert and you've got a booklet that's got all the students' names, what's going to be performed, you're going to do that on a bigger piece of paper, maybe an 11 by 17 half folded. Then you have to be able to pivot that quickly to do a program for a soccer game or a handout coming out of the guidance office. So being able to pivot quickly and make those adjustments easily is one of the advantages of having automatic setting fold plates. Fast, easy to use, efficient, nice modern full color touchscreen. Ability to do program batches as well. So if customers are doing sets of 3 or 5 sheets automatically, what the machine can do is you can program it to do, let's say, 15 sets of 5 pages. So it'll run 5 sheets, individual folds, leave them on the conveyor, and then start the next 5 with a pause in between. That way you can clear them, put them in an envelope, make a little packet, easy to use. Same thing. Has a multi-sheet feeder on the top as an option that you can add if you want to do those drop-through sets, same as the 346. And it does include that crossfold wheel that I've got hanging on the FD38XI here. So a couple different unique applications, things that the machine can do, easy to run. 38XI, okay, fully automatic, 100% programmable machine. That means when you're changing over between jobs, no room for error. Everything happens out of the touchscreen. When I change my fold position, it's going to adjust my upper fold plate, my lower fold plate, and the stacker wheel on the output conveyor before the job. I don't want to create it. What will happen is with a 346, if an operator switches over the jobs and forgets to change those stacker wheels, the pieces get there too soon, they pile up, and the machine will stop. You don't have that concern with the 38XI. That setting's already programmed. The wheels will move to the right position to catch the pieces coming out of the machine. Couple things here. This is that multi-sheet feed, or excuse me, that cross-fold wheel. So it's a heavy-duty metal piece, easy to apply to the machine. That's when you're running a job in 2 passes. Or sometimes one that we'll see is, especially when we just got through election season and coming up with town and county government, customers might want to fold envelopes in half because they want to put them into another envelope. When you use a cross-fold wheel, what it does is it assists with the feeding. Why the Formax one is so effective is it's heavy duty, it's metal. when it goes onto the machine, it actually applies weight to the folded edge or the thicker edge of that media and assists with the feeding, where competitive machines have much smaller, lighter duty ones, and even in some cases plastic. What you really need is that weight to assist with the feeding. Consistent with that 3-tire feed system I showed you on the 346, 38XI has that same functionality. 3 feed tires, up to 500 sheets, 2 side guides that center the paper on those feed wheels. 38XI has another included feature though. It has a tension adjustment. So that's important when you're talking to your customers about why they're going to buy a paper folder. They're thinking about their budget. They're thinking about what applications they need to do, what departments are going to use the machine, how many they need to do per month based on the print volumes, whatever it might be. Of these 3 machines, when they want to do something glossy, when they want to do something a little bit heavier, maybe something with a window in it, they want to consider having a machine that has an adjustment to help with that. Each of these machines, we would say, is really good for papers that are up to about 150 GSM. That's the kind of the common paperweight we'd say to use. Look, if you want an easy tip that we always recommend, when you're out talking to customers and maybe they have print equipment from you, for our friends that sell copier dealers on the presentation today, when you're talking to them about what they're doing after the pieces are printed or what their jobs are, what pieces are getting handed out, it's an easy thing to do to snap some pictures of the labels of the paper they're running, and that'll tell us a heck of a lot about what the right paper folder is. But this machine will have the most versatility for different paper weights. If you need to do something glossier, something thicker, this is probably where you want to be before you jump up to an air-fed folder. But for the most part, very common machines. With the 38XI, a place that we see a lot of them is in kind of industrial manufacturing type environments where they're putting a lot of instruction guides in boxes. Sometimes single fold passes like a trifold, sometimes those cross folds, folded in half and then folded again. The reason they like this machine is automatic setups, so when you switch between jobs, it moves everything into position for you, and then you're off and running. Same idea, do my test piece. Do my test piece, and get off and running into production. Now, one thing about these 3 machines, for most common paper applications, the folks that are doing higher volumes of, let's say, the 20-pound copy paper, what you really want is a friction-fed machine with those 3 feed tires, keeps the pressure even on the sheet, assists them in feeding, improves with reliability, easy to replace those tires as well, very serviceable equipment, and simple. When we're talking to customers, you really want to talk about how to make their offices more efficient. And that can be 2 different things. They might have a paper folder today. Maybe it's an old Formax. Maybe it's a competitive machine. It's not running as efficiently as it used to. It doesn't have automatic settings. It's not easily marked for different jobs. All of those things make it easier for the operator to use, which is going to save them time. And then that speed, being able to pick up the productivity to get the jobs done and out the door. You don't want to sit at a desk and fold paper, and you don't want to stand in front of a paper folder for 25, 30 minutes at a time, waiting for the job to get through, clearing jams and misfeeds. So each of these machines has a great value proposition for a customer. The 346 has those 3 manual setups. 386 has automatic plates with the manual output stacking wheels. 38XI, that's your all-in-one. Automatic fold plates, automatic stacking wheels, tension adjustment, and included multi-sheet feeder. For those small batches where you got 3 sheets, you just got to run through 20 or 25 at a time. So it's a pretty good run-through on these 3 paper folders and what they do. It's great timing right now, like I mentioned. Formax dealers, call your account executive, get wind of that promotion. Go out to your customers that have been maybe haggling with you about making a replacement. This is the best time. They're going to get a great advantage on price, and it's going to make their offices more efficient and save them time as well. 346, that's a great one for churches, 86 schools when they're pivoting between some different jobs, a couple budget concerns, 38 XI going into more of those production environments, whether it's print for pay or people with an in-plant print shop or people doing their internal kind of marketing pieces. And we're talking about, that industrial space manufacturing. So 3 really exciting machines, excellent time to work with Formax on these machines. These units are fast, they're durable, they got really modern features built by a manufacturer that knows how to move paper through machines with a great track record of reliability, and they're versatile. So great time to take advantage of those things. I guess we're probably ready if there's any Q&A, Doug, any things in there people asking about?
I don't have any questions in here right now, it doesn't look like.
Well, that's great. So that gives me a kind of a soapbox to stand here. These have been great products for Formax. I'm excited. This is actually my 10th year with the company, and it's been a wonderful progression to see these move from the 342 to the 346 and the 382 to the 386 with those modern features. But I do, with some folks on the call, want to say it's a great time to work with us. That ColorMax 9 will be doing our full dealer-facing product launch presentation like this one next month. That one will be can't miss. We'll get dates and times out to everybody in the next week or so. Be a great chance to see that equipment in action, get your questions answered, and get it out in front of customers. Another one that's really in demand right now is the DDC 50, our digital die cutter. And it falls in line with a lot of the same vertical markets and customers that these machines do. If you're out talking to churches and other folks that want to create more marketing pieces, more branding, that DDC 50 digital die cutter, great machine to talk about because it can help with some light packaging for retail. It can help with promotional items, point of sale pieces, table stands, table tents, and also stickers and labels. So when you're working with Formax, we've got a lot of versatile solutions, a lot of things we're excited about. We look forward to partnering with you all this year. And look out for that next month's presentation on the on the ColorMax 9. Dougie?
2 quick questions, actually. How often might each need to be serviced?
Well, it depends a little bit on what you're running and how much you're running. I think typically dealers and folks doing service on these machines are doing a preventative maintenance or 2 a year. What you'll see is you'll get to your wear cycles faster, which will mean you'll replace these rubber feed tires and replace the separation pad most of the time. Those are the most common wearables in these machines. That's really what customers will bump into, and that really just depends on how many sheets you're feeding through the machine. If you're running, let's say 20,000 sheets per month, you'll get to your wear cycle faster than someone doing 5,000 sheets per month. But simple job, a couple feed tires, separation pad, blow some air through the machine to deal with the paper dust, and you're back into operation again.
And the last one, is there a sound difference between the machines?
I would say the sound difference between the 346, 386, 38 XI, that machine's got a little different sound, but in terms of the decibel level, it really depends a little bit on the room you're in. You're going to hear the machines in operation whipping the paper through and folding. But no, I think it's pretty similar. Just that one, a little bit slower machine, a little bit more of a kerchunk versus a whipping sound on these units. And I bet Doug standing here would probably agree.
I'm nodding. No one can see me, but yes, I agree.
We were thinking about putting Doug and I both on camera since there's a little bit of a discrepancy about if it's really 2 people or not. But
yeah. As you can see, we are 2 different people.
2 different people, yeah.
Okay. That's it. No other questions.
All right. Well, thank you. Hope you all have a strong close to the first quarter. If I can do anything for you, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you all, and look out for that next presentation in April. Have a great day, everybody.